After taking a break, I'm back for some more Crystal Clear. And while I work on some other bigger projects, I figured what better way to jump back into doing these than by covering the 2D classic Sonic games, kinda. I'm only covering the mainline stuff, so 1, 2, 3K, 4, CD, Mania, and Superstars. Let's begin, shall we? Back in the 1980s, Nintendo saved the video game industry, in the US anyways. However, they kinda went unrivaled there for a while. Not that there weren't any contenders for the video game king, but Nintendo managed to stop them all with the hyper-restrictive deals that did things like make it so studios could only put out 5 games a year. And while that was fair given the circumstances, forcing studios to buy 50,000 carts or so was just not. So, many studios ended up not being able to sell that many games to begin with. And that was just greedy. However, come 1991, the simple blue hedgehog would speed on in and punch a hole in Nintendo so big they still having to use gimmicks to keep up. I kid of course about that last part, but 1991 Sonic the Hedgehog did come and change the video game industry. Not in the same way something like Breath of the Wild did, but more so in showing Nintendo wasn't invincible. Sonic is an important franchise in the face of gaming, even if he is very different now compared to 1991. Now as for my introduction to Sonic 1, I actually have no idea. I've been introduced to this game like 3 times because it never really grabbed my attention until late. The first time would be in Sonic's Ultimate Mega Drive collection for the Xbox 360. There was a lot of games, and only Sonic 3 ever held my attention, probably because it had a save feature so game overs didn't kick my ass. And then with Generations there was the Mega Drive controller, and that was the first time I ever beat Sonic 1 with the infinite continues you could buy. Because for the longest time, I sucked at Sonic 1. Then the mobile version came out and I made an effort to beat it with all the Chaos Emeralds. And ever since then I've come back to it intermittently through various different collections. Enough of the introduction stuff. How is Sonic 1? Well, before we get into it, I should start by saying I'm playing the Origins version, meaning we have some animated cutscenes. And this story is incredibly simple. While running through his home of South Island, Sonic finds his friends are stuck inside robots. He runs out and tries to stop the evil Dr. Robotnik. It's a simple but effective story. And while running through the level, Sonic can collect the 6 Chaos Emeralds, and yep, that's a good looking cutscene right there. Simple plot, simple gameplay, right? Well, yeah, Sonic 1 is a simple game. You can run, you can jump, and you can spin to victory. But there's a clash with how Sonic was marketed and designed. What do I mean? Well, by going level by level, Green Hill is iconic for a reason. It's the perfect opening level. It's so fast and freeing. And then you snap cut to Marble Zone and all your momentum comes to a stop. It might not look like it here because I just know how to run around well enough to be able to keep a lot of my speed, but on a first playthrough you will either die from brute forcing your way through, or you'll have to stop and wait. Neither that great for a stage that is meant to be built on speed, and is the second level of the game. Now Spring Yard, this is way more like it. It's way faster and has a great mix of speed and platforming, which is great. It's fun, bouncy, and helps continue the theme of going from the green, and mostly safe Green Hill, into the heart of madness, which is then thrown out by this fucking level. Labyrinth Zone is genuinely bad enough to drag down my enjoyment of the entire game. It's so bad. It went from level 2 to level 4 because, well look at this. This is not level 2 material. The water is so slow, and it is memorable, but for all the wrong reasons, including you can drown. You have to run around, collect these air balls, and make sure you don't drown to death. Yay, exactly what everybody wants to do in the speedy action platformer. Slowly wade through water. Luckily, you are rewarded for putting up with this bullshit. Your reward is Starlight Zone. Starlight Zone is genuinely beautiful. While it's simplistic, it's the only other stage beside Green Hill to truly match the speed and simple but effective platforming. Never letting one thing truly take the focus, but instead keeping a good variety of everything going on. It's great and my favourite zone in this game. I wish I got more representation throughout the year instead of spamming Green Hill every 5 minutes. Finally, is Scrap Brain Zone, and it truly made me scrap my brain as it doesn't feel that well designed. It's a mess in a lot of areas, and while it has a lot of fun gimmicks in its first 2 acts, it still feels a little rushed, definitely not helped by Labyrinth Act 4. Knowing the history of this game, and that Labyrinth was meant to be level 2, and show more of the nature part Eggman's takeover, I can't help but feel that this was a sign of Sonic 1 having some issues and being rushed. I say this because Sonic 1 is overall decently designed for a platformer, you know, when the Sonic style hadn't really fully kicked in. But throwing this in Labyrinth Act 4, it feels weird to be the first level, other than Final Zone. But throwing us in Labyrinth X4, it feels weird to be the last level. I mean, other than Final Zone, but still. Let me know if you think something's off with them using Labyrinth here. Maybe it was meant to be, you thought you were safe? No, get back in the water. Or something like that, but Final Zone is just a boss fight. I guess over here we should talk about the bosses. They suck. All of them. Boss fights have never been something Sonic's great at. Even with the Titans and Frontiers. As boss fights, they suck. The spectacle of substance of the night and maybe the end scream. That's what's off it though. While the bosses do suck, it's nice to see Robotnik actually fighting back with his own two hands, as that was a rarity back then. Now, to talk about Origins. You see, the original Sonic had a speed cap when running, and when rolling, Sonic couldn't change his direction, even when jumping after a roll. However, the roll lock is gone, with the plus update anyway, and we have the spin dash and drop dash. Both I'll get into in future reviews. Plus get to play as Tails and Knuckles, and with the plus expansion Amy. Again, we'll talk about them in future games. But no, they're here. But Sonic 1 also has a long history of being ported, from straight emulation on WiiWare, to compilations like the Mega Collection and Ultimate Genesis Collection, and being rebuilt with Sonic Jam, and even being fully remade from the ground up like with the original mobile version and Origins here. I'm sure you could play this game on your toaster if you asked it nicely enough. However, being British, there's one version of Sonic 1 I won't catch myself ever playing anytime soon. The original Mega Drive version. You're gonna see what we had over here in Power Regions? It's slowed down by about 17%. There's a good idea of what it's like. I guess finally is the special stages, and they're okay. More a showcase of what the Mega Drive can do as a tech demo. And as a tech demo, it's really impressive and not awful. But is getting all 6 Chaos Emeralds worth it? No, not in the slightest. It gives you flowers at the end of the game and stops anyone from taunting you at the end screen. It's ultimately not worth it, but if you want to go out and do it, I mean, go for it. And with all that being said, Sonic 1 is a pretty good, yet flawed game. In my classic Sonic ranking video, that'll probably do at the end of all this, it lands squarely in the middle. Because outside of Labyrinth, it does nothing horribly, but it does nothing perfect. However, its history and significance and ease of access, because again, ASCII toasts it nicely. It's a game everybody should at least try, even if it's not perfect. And that's all until we tackle the true sequel to Sonic 1, Sonic CD. And until next time, take care.